Good evening, everybody. I hope you are watching tonight. We have a very important show. It is Domestic Violence Awareness Month. And since that's happening, we here at Pix 11 News want to talk directly to you, the men and women who are watching that might be facing this, might be facing shame about it, might want to talk about it, might have some questions, and might need some help. We always use some incredible women, incredible community champions that some of my favorite people actually. Stephanie, how long have I known you? Stephanie McGraw with Warm. And of course, we always turn to SafeHorizon. SafeHorizon, Shanequa Anne Holiday, thank you for joining us tonight. The statistics are alarming. Nearly 20 people per minute are physically assaulted by an intimate partner in the U.S. That's according to the National Coalition Against Domestic Violence. Also, the CDC says 1 in 5 women, 1 in 7 men report having experienced severe physical violence from an intimate partner during their lifetime. So that's why this is such an important topic that we have to talk about. And I hope that you will share this, you'll like this, and you'll also comment and ask questions down below. We'll have so many resources for you. But these are two of the top organizations that are on the front lines of this issue right now. Shaniqua, thank you for joining us. You are SafeHorizon. We love SafeHorizon. Talk to me a little bit about domestic violence. Now, when you say that, we're also talking about mental abuse as well, right?
Right. Thank you for having me here today. So, domestic violence is sometimes categorized as one particular type of violence. And I want folks out there to know that domestic violence can take many faces. It can be physical, sexual, emotional, economic, psychological, technological. And it's any action or threat of actions that, or other patterns of like controlling behavior that influence another person within a relationship or a family.
Over the past 2 years, you've received 200,000 calls. I mean, that is incredible when you think of just how many people need this help, need this information right now. What are the telltale signs of someone struggling with an abusive relationship?
There are various telltale signs of someone struggling with an abusive relationship, like not letting you speak, telling you what to do, controlling your paycheck, or not letting you go places that you want to go, or not letting you speak up for yourself, or control your environment, or things that you want to do. And if anyone is experiencing those telltale signs of domestic violence or knows someone that's experiencing that, you can contact our hotline at 1-800-621-HOPE 4673, and someone is available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week to help. SafeHorizon operates the hotline for domestic violence shelters throughout the 5 boroughs of New York City, so we can place you in a safe borough, you and your family. And just don't be afraid. Don't feel alone. I know it's a scary situation, and there's a lot of shame sometimes and embarrassment associated with it, or fear. But just know that you can reach out to us and we will help you. And then once you're connected to shelter, you can receive resources. We also have community programs in case folks aren't ready for shelter or shelter is not your need. We have domestic violence law projects that helps with survivors of domestic violence with different legal things that they need help with, like divorce or other things that connect you to the violent relationship. We also have community programs like street work and things like that that help youth. So that's for folks that don't necessarily need shelter. But if you need shelter, contact us. If you need any domestic violence services at all, contact us at 1-800-621-HOPE, and someone will be there 24 hours a day to help assist you and connect you to resources.
Thank you, Shaniqua from SafeHorizon. Let's talk a little bit about fact versus fiction now. I really want to do this. Is important. Number one, domestic violence is usually a one-time isolated incident. Fact or fiction?
That's fiction. So there can be a string of incidents. It can be one isolated incident for some folks, and for others, it can be a string of subtle incidents leading up to a major incident, or there may not ever be a major incident. It's just a string of subtle incidents. But no matter how many incidents there are, it affects people's lives every day, and folks should speak up or give the information to someone if you notice some of these things are happening.
That's right. And then also, our victims domestic abuse they grow up in abusive families. Fact or fiction?
That's fiction. So sometimes it's true that victims of domestic abuse grew up in abusive families, and sometimes that's not true, right? Each case is isolated, and if your case, if you haven't grown up in a family of domestic abuse, that doesn't mean that you can't be a victim of domestic violence now. So that's fiction.
And domestic violence can only happen to women. Fact or fiction?
That's fiction, Monica. So we house men and our males or folks identifying of various sexual identities or genders in our shelters all across New York City. And we help everyone of any gender identity.
Stephanie McGraw, we got to talk to you with Warm. We All Really Matter is your organization. You're everywhere. You have so many great events that are out in the community. You're constantly doing something. I'm getting text messages from you all the time. What's the motivation? What motivates you, Stephanie?
First of all, thank you, Monica, so much for having us. I really appreciate this audience. I really appreciate the work you do. Pix 11 is the show that I watch every night, so I'm so honored to be here. And what motivates me is I am a survivor of domestic violence, and I live in Harlem. I grew up in housing projects, so I grew up in poverty, and for myself, I just really didn't see the representation 15 years ago when I called Safe Horizons. Thank you, Safe Horizons, because 15 years ago I called the hotline number and they sent me upstate New York, and that's when my journey began. But when I came out of the shelter and I got back to New York and back to the Harlem area, I just did not see the representation of Black and Brown women. And I didn't see anything readily available in the community. So this is why I gave birth to Warm, and Warm stands for We All Really Matter. And I literally was in fetal position when I gave birth to this because I knew it was something that I needed to do with what had happened to me as a victim of domestic violence. And plus, I grew up in a community where we all looked at domestic violence as being a shame. So we're here to shine a light on what it really is. It's a crime and it's not a shame. So this is what motivated me to come back and use my pain to help other women gain and to really say, sisters, look, there's no difference. I got through it. I got out of it. So can you. And 15 years ago, I didn't hear anyone speaking like this. So I created this.
Wow, you're so brave, so courageous. And you know what I love about you is that when you talk to another man or woman that's been through your same situation, you can tell, you can feel it. There's something that you can feel with that person. And I can feel your passion. I can feel your pain too, and why you're so driven to make a difference. What do you think is the key to stopping this in our communities, to helping men and women who are in desperate need of help? What's the key?
Yeah, the key is education. The key is awareness. The key is prevention. The key is services. The key is talking about it because I grew up in a household and I did not have no idea that domestic violence was had a name to it. I had no idea that it was a crime because the environment I grew up in, it happened every day. So we just thought that love was supposed to hurt. So from my own personal story, I go hard. We go out there, we do the work because I grew up in an environment where it was not talked about. So I think one of the key elements is to really talk about it and to get the men engaged in this. I would call it a national health crisis because it affects every area of our lives. So it is a national health crisis when we have women going into the emergency room, when we have children being not available to go to school because of the abuse when we have women losing their jobs. I mean, it affects every area of our life, and until we understand it is a national health crisis, and we have to start talking about like that. I don't know if anything would change, but we're starting to see a shift because we are starting to see men coming on board and denouncing domestic violence, and that's a beginning.
Like how much you've done already for your community and how much more you're going to do. But Shaniqua Hope, if someone's watching right now and is afraid to come forward, we know that they're there. We know that there are men and women right now watching on Facebook who are afraid to come forward. What do you want to say directly to them to give them hope and maybe a little bit of courage to take that first step, whatever that first step is?
I would like to say to them that you can call us 24 hours a day. We also have a safe chat feature. If you're not able to talk verbally over the phone, you can chat us. You can go to safehorizon.org and there's a button there. And the safe chat is quickly escapable. You can escape very quickly, like within a fraction of a second. It'll take you back to a Google homepage so that no one knows what you're doing, trying to get help. I would say employ the assistance of anybody that you feel that can support you. Maybe it's someone at your job, maybe it's someone at the school, maybe it's a neighbor. Have a bag of things ready to go. That's a good thing to always do if you're able to. Have a go bag, have a phone readily accessible to you, so that you are able to call for help. And don't forget 1-800-621-HOPE. We're here to help you 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, no matter what you're going through. There's someone there that can help you, and we can help get you out of that situation.
We have a 6-week virtual workshop in honoring domestic violence. And on October 4th, we will be talking about releasing unwanted baggage. Because for myself, it was so hard for me to shift because I had so much trauma and pain from being in abusive relationship for many years that I had to start to release some of that baggage. So we had this workshop throughout the whole month. We will be doing Love on the Block, which is October 8th. It will be up at the Polo Grounds, where the numbers in the Polo Grounds are 75% higher than any other housing project. And we work very closely with 19 precincts, and we were working very closely with PSA 6 on October 8th. We're also having a Love on the Block and the East Side with PSA 5 because we know the numbers are extremely high. So, we have a lot of events throughout October. And all these events in person. We are a physical location that is open. We stayed open throughout the whole pandemic. We are a critical response team that go into homes and pack women up, move them out, and get them to safety. So our space is open 9 to 7 every day, and we're looking to take 2 shifts, so we'll be around the clock because domestic violence just does not happen between 9 and 5.
That's right.
Okay? And sometimes, when women call the hotline, they need somewhere to be. And this is a safe haven, a safe location. Through the pandemic, we had police officers bringing women and children and everything they own directly to our office. So we are the critical response team that actually go into the homes and pack women up and get them out the same day.
We're going to have all of these resources right on our website, on our Facebook page. Again, it's pix11.com/DV. We are going to be covering this extensively on the Pix 11 News as well, doing stories on this, hearing your stories, share your stories with us. We are always here for you at 4, 5, 6, and 10. Pix 11 News. I hope you're watching every single day because we're making it happen. And these community champions are making it happen. Have a great night.